So it's November, and it's time to talk about stewardship and tithing, the toughest thing any Presbyterian will ever do. And this year, not really a committee. I'm aware that other Christian denominations go about it differently than we do. I'm also aware that probably 75% of the people in this room right now were once a member of different congregations, and that's probably the reason they're no longer there. So in thinking about what I was going to do today, I decided to break it into talking about stewardship and then about tithing. Stewardship is a careful, responsible management of something that's entrusted to our care. Many of you know I am a lifelong member of this church. I was baptized at that font. I stood right there and made my confirmation, was installed as an elder and a deacon, and I sat right there at the funeral of my parents. I take my responsibility to this church very seriously. What automatically came to my mind was a book I used to read when I taught elementary school called Brother Eagle, Sister Sky. It's a synopsis of Chief Seattle's response when the president asked him to sell his property, or the property of his people, to the government. His response was, "How can you buy or sell the sky, the warmth of the land? This idea is strange to us. If we do not own the freshness of the air and the sparkle of the water, then how can you buy them? We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We only borrow them from our children." This is exactly the way I view this church. We can't own the sounds of our singing. We can't own the love and respect we share for one another. We can't own the message that Casey preaches to us each Sunday morning. The same holds true for the physical building. It doesn't belong to Casey as the pastor. It doesn't belong to me as the church clerk of session. But it is up to us to take care of it, to make sure it's here for future generations. Well, in order for us to do that, we have to tithe. Well, what is tithing? Tithing is 1/10. Does that mean I should be giving 1/10 of my income to this church? It's always scared me to death. How can anybody afford to give 1/10 of their income to the church? I'm going to tell you a little secret. I've never given 1/10 of my income to the church. There's a lot of guilt there. The New Testament talks about tithing as a giving of grace, that the church is ground zero for Christian ministry. The giving or spreading of that gospel starts right here and extends out. So in my life, I give to many charities in many different ways. Each year, as I prepare for my income taxes, as you all do, I collect all my proof of my charitable givings. And yes, I do give 10%. Giving to the church comes in many different ways. For me, I'm the clerk of session. I'm on the COVID task force. I'm a member of the choir. I'm in charge of the fundraising committee. I try to keep that shed organized. I try to keep that kitchen clean. I try to sneak in here during the week and dust and vacuum so it's not filthy for us. Johanna and I, with the help of Lloyd and Joanne, put a floor in the nursery. Never done that in my life. Last winter, when we weren't seeing each other, and I missed you all so much, I decided to send out cards. And yes, I am the keeper of the sign. So if you like it, wonderful. If you don't like it, don't see me. But I also give money, because without money, we don't have lights, or heat, or plumbing, or insurance. We won't have a pastor, we won't have cut grass, we won't have a plowed parking lot. Over my many years on session, we have looked long and hard at our budget, and I can confidently say there is no fat, there is no place left to trim. When I was a little girl, I came every week, and I mean every week because I had 100% attendance, with my little tiny envelope with a quarter in it. And at the end of the year, that was $13. And so I did a little investigating this week, and I found out that in 1965, when I started Sunday school, that $13 could buy 42 gallons of heating oil for this building. Well, there are 4 Strickland children, so the Strickland children gave $1 every week, which amounts to 167 gallons of oil to heat this building and the building across the street. So any little amount that you increase in your pledge has a huge impact on the church. Well, my situation has changed greatly since I was giving a quarter every year. And this year, more than any other year. I've sold my house, and I'm saying in the pulpit, I'm living with Mickey. I'm preparing to build a house in North Carolina and share my time between the two states. This change in my life has made me think about what I will leave for this congregation. Right now, I don't have to pay a mortgage. I don't have house insurance. I don't have landscaping. And with this decrease in my expenses, I plan to increase my giving. Everyone sitting here has a different situation, and I trust that all of you will look hard at your time and your finances and make decisions about how you will be a steward of the church and how you will tithe, because we don't inherit this church from our ancestors. We only borrow it from our children. Thank you.